Alice. Christopher Robin went down with Alice. Alice is marrying one of the Garter soldiers. Life is terrible hard, says Alice. They're changing guard at Buckingham Palace. Christopher Robin went down with Alice. We saw the guard in a sentry box. One of the sergeants looked after their soul, says Alice. They're changing guard at Buckingham Palace. Christopher Robin went down with Alice. We looked for the king, but he never came. Well, God take care of him all the same, says Alice. They're changing guard at Buckingham Palace. Christopher Robin went down with Alice. They've made big parties inside the grounds. I wouldn't be king for £100, says Alice. They're changing guard at Buckingham Palace. Christopher Robin went down with Alice. Her face looked out, but it wasn't the king's. He's much too busy assigning things, says Alice. They're changing guard at Buckingham Palace. Christopher Robin went down with Alice. Do you think the king knows all about me? Sure to, dear, but it's time for tea, says Alice.
Like villages up and down the country, Ashton under Hill in the Vale of Evesham celebrated the Queen's Jubilee in traditional country style. Up on Breedon Hill, the festive bonfire waits in anticipation of a noisy evening still to come. While down below, another chapter is being written in the story of the English village. During the last generation or two, most English villages have shared the same kind of history, a story of change. There's nothing special about Ashton's, but its story is better known than most because of the books written by this man, Fred Archer.
Those are the birds' children.
The brownies, is it?
He was born and bred, courted and wed here in Ashton. Today, at the age of 62, he looks on as another generation parades up the village street, part of the natural succession. Fred has watched it all and quietly set the story down, a chronicle of Ashton through the years, back through other jubilees and coronations, to his earliest memories as a child. His story of Ashton goes back well into the 19th century. For Jubilee Day at Ashton, the village turned out in force. Ruth and Gerald were still undecided on an order for the procession. And heavily disguised as a country farmer, Charles Archer was applauded for sticking to his rural traditions. Any village would be proud of a turnout like this. With so many villagers taking part, there were few of them left to look on. In fact, everyone agreed that Ashton had never looked so traditional. The village spirit is very much alive. Maybe in the year 2000, we'll want to look back on this Jubilee Day in Ashton-under-Hill. But we need someone with the same kind of eye for detail as Fred Archer. Fred has yet to record the village as it is today. The Ashton he should know best of all. Perhaps if he does, he'll find there's just as much to write about. Fred Archer could make a whole chapter out of the ladies and their cups of tea, or the competition for the best decorated cottage, or the scandal of the missing flag. We'll need those rural stories to remind us and reassure us of the good old days when we all celebrated the Queen's Jubilee.
This is a good road.
As the evening wore on, the children tired. The school piano, loaded on Farmer Dunn's dray, was pulled up Breeden Hill by two of Harry's horses. A mixed crowd gathered, young chaps and girls, and old folk who told their tales of Queen Victoria's Jubilee. The bonfire had been built for weeks and was waiting to be lit in the dusk of May. The old men pointed out to the less informed that the fires on Broadway and Cleeve Hill, on Dover's Hill and May Hill by the distant Severn, had spread the news, good and bad, right through history. A young man played the school piano with the latest jazz, and they sang and danced in a circle round the fire, as the hill folk had done in the merry England of Elizabeth I. Fireworks streaked from hill to vale, and rockets off Broadway sparkled 6 miles away.
Gentlemen, the Queen will light your bonfire for you.
Reverend Vernon's deep bass voice echoed round the hill, and as the fire died down, they played the tune Old 100, followed with the King, until at last, one by one.
It's very reassuring that Fred Archer's description of the King's Jubilee back in 1935 should still be so fitting in our Jubilee year nearly half a century later. Maybe that's the secret of Breeden Hill.
What's the camera?